So a little bit about myself. I spent most of my teaching career in a middle school as a reading and writing, and then I also taught English, and then I also taught PE in a small rural school district in Oregon. And then 2 years ago, I had a baby girl, and so Graduation Lens kind of scooped me up, and I've loved teaching with them. So I don't know if you are in my class or not in my specific English class, but if you want to unmute yourself or write in the chat box which current class you're in, because then I could maybe tailor some of the lesson to that class. So just let me know. Vivica, do you see where the chat box is? On mine, it's like 3 little dots, and then you can click the chat box.
Yes, I see it.
Cool. Which current class are you in?
I actually have 2 English classes. I still have some I want to finish in English 1, and then I just started English 2.
Okay, which grade is it? Say
9.
English 9, English 10?
English
Cool.
9.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so this lesson will be really, really helpful. How have you already done activity 641?
No, I have not, because I actually been kind of struggling with it. So
perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I said, it's just you and me, so if you want to just interrupt me. It's funny because last week we had like 10 students showed up, and then the week before we had 30, so you're kind of lucky just to have kind of a solo lesson. So anyways, so a little bit in front of you, you can see my screen hopefully, but in front of you is like a Prezi on the format that we use for writing in all of your English classes. So I'm going to go through that because that's also, we're also going to go through activity 631, which deals with this as well. But this format is used throughout all of your essays from English 9 all the way up to English 12 and Graduation Lines, and it's just a super easy format to follow. I used it when I was teaching middle school as well. So basically it explains what each sentence is in a paragraph. And they use the analogy of a cheeseburger, so that's why there's a picture of a cheeseburger here. So the topic sentence is like the top bun of the cheeseburger. And the topic sentence is the first sentence of the paragraph, and it shows the main idea. The next, that's an example topic sentence. I should maybe read that. In the fairy tale, The Three Little Pigs, the third pig is very wise. So everything else coming after that would only explain or talk about the third pig and him being very wise. The next sentence in a paragraph is called the concrete details, short, sometimes referred to as CD, and that's the meat of the cheeseburger. It's the facts, the quotes, the examples. So for activity 641, that's going to be a fact that you get from a source. So maybe it's a quote from something, or like a statistic. That would be a fact. A concrete detail is not an opinion. We'll talk about opinions later. Concrete details are not opinions. They are facts. Oh, I should read that one. For example, remembering his mother's warning about a wolf, he builds his house out of sturdy brick. Okay, so this was supporting how the third pig was wise, and this gives a specific example from the story. So it's a fact, it's taken from the story. Commentary is your opinion, and sometimes referred to as CM. That's like the extras on the cheeseburger, like the tomato, the lettuce, the mayo, whatever. It's your own personal opinion. That's what makes your writing interesting, because anybody can put facts in it, but the way you explain something and put your own kind of opinion in it makes it yours. So like makes your cheeseburger yours, deciding on what you want to put on it. So it's your personal analysis, interpretation, or explanation about the text. A commentary, in simpler terms, is an opinion. A concrete detail, in simpler terms, is a fact. So just keep those kind of, make sure you know the difference between those two. So here's an example of two commentaries. The wolf is unable to blow down the brick house. This shows that the third pig is smarter than his brothers, who were both eaten by the wolf. So basically, this person is giving an explanation or saying, this shows because, and gives their own interpretation of it. And then you have the concluding sentence, the end of the paragraph, and that's the bottom bun of the cheeseburger. So it wraps up the paragraph and it rephrases that main idea so that your reader knows what you were talking about and kind of reminds them what the main idea was. So here's an example. In conclusion, the third pig outsmarts not only his brothers, but the big bad wolf as well. And oftentimes you can use transitions like in conclusion, or as you can see, or in summary could also be used for your concluding sentence. So this refers, it's called chunking, but this refers to like the order, are usually how you chunk these into a paragraph. So they say that one chunk is a concrete detail and two commentaries. In activity 641, I think we switch it up. I think we ask for two concrete details and one commentary. And of course, you always have to have a topic sentence and then a concluding sentence on either side of that, like the top and the bottom bun of the cheeseburger. So just be aware that this pattern can be, you know, mixed up, just as long as you follow the format that is asked in the assignment. Also important to keep in mind some transitions. We talked about that in the concluding sentence. You can use in summary, therefore, as a result, because of this. For instance would be a good one for like explaining something. For example would be a good intro to a concrete detail because you can take a direct quote from a story or your source. And then obviously after you write it in that format, you want to read it without the tags. Like you don't read topic sentence, you know, the big bad wolf was terrible. I don't know. You wouldn't read topic sentence. You would just write, you just read the big bad wolf was terrible. And then you go through and you have your concrete details and your commentary and your concluding sentence. So this is what a final paragraph would look like, obviously without like the writing format tags there. And so you have in the blue, the topic sentence, the red is the concrete detail, the green are the two commentaries, and then the blue is the concluding sentence there. So you see the blue are the top two buns, or the top, I guess the bottom and the top bun, and then concrete detail and commentary in the middle there. And as always, you know, following the writing format is a guideline. As soon as you get better at writing, you can mix it up and you don't necessarily have to follow that exact format. But when you're just starting out and you're just learning how to put a paragraph together and organize your writing, it's really important that you follow the format because your teachers will be looking to see if you are organizing it correctly. And then it just makes it easier for your reader to understand. And of course, if you write something and your reader doesn't understand it, well, what's the point? So yeah, those are some guidelines. In the lesson, I had planned to play like a trivia game now because I was kind of assuming there would be more students here. But because of that, we'll just do activity 631 instead because that's a quick review. And then you can interrupt me or whatever if you have any questions. We will do that here. Okay, so, and I did press record, yes. I have to remind myself to press record every time. Okay, so I didn't acknowledge the essential questions, but I'm gonna do that right now. So essential questions are kind of like what this lesson is gonna be about. So by the end of the lesson, you should know what a TS, a CD, a CM, and a CS stands for, and I think you probably already know that. You should understand why following a writing format is important by the end of the lesson, and then why researching and creating an outline is important. And we will walk you through the steps. And so you'll be able to basically complete activity 641 relatively quickly after we're done with this lesson. Okay, so like I said, I had a trivia game planned, but because it's just you and I, we can just go through activity 631. So if you wanted to like pull up another tab wherever you happen to be listening to me, maybe it's on your computer, and complete activity 631, that would be totally cool. I'm gonna try to pull it up right here. A little bit slow. I'm gonna take a swig of my coffee. It's I don't know where you are, Vivica, but it's 12:30 my time, and I'm still drinking coffee. So, all right, let's.
It's
and
3
then
o'clock where I'm at.
What did you say, Vivica? Sorry.
It's 3 o'clock where I'm at. It's like 3:40. Yeah.
Nice. Are you must be in central time zone then, no? Okay, so activity 631. This is the lesson. It's just basic matching. So I think before that we had given maybe a review of some of these terms, but anyways, this should be pretty easy for you to do after we talked about this. So all you have to do is match this. So A restates the topic. Is that a concrete detail, commentary, topic sentence, or concluding sentence? What do you think? Oh, sorry, that's bad. Let's redo that. Let's answer concrete detail. So what is a concrete detail? A fact or piece of evidence, an educated decision based on concrete details, an opinion based on concrete detail, or restates the topic. And you could just unmute yourself or put it in the chat, whatever you want to do.
It's B.
Concrete detail, an opinion, explanation based on the concrete detail. This one? An opinion, explanation based on the concrete detail?
No, it's D. A fact or a piece of evidence.
Yep, you got it. Yep, good job. So I put D there. Yep. Okay, commentary is what? And we already used D, so it's A, B, or C.
Is it B?
Yes, correct. Yep, a commentary is an opinion. Good job. How about topic sentence?
Sentence would be C.
Yes, and that was kind of a tricky one because I didn't use that exact wording, so good job. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a topic sentence is going to explain your main idea, which is the wording I used, but this one uses an educated decision, which is basically the same thing. You're taking a stance on something, and then your concrete details and commentary going to support that. So that is C. And then concluding sentence with the last one left over is obviously A. It restates the topic. I don't know if in activity 631 it's in that exact same order for you, but good job participating. And then, so that one should be done. And then when you submit your assignment, you want to do check answers, I think, and then you have to hit submit after that. Let me see. Yeah, something like that. It might look different for you, but anyways, 100%. Woo! Okay. Then, all right, so now we know what like the terms are that we're talking about every time. So now we can get into actually the argument. So one of the things students get hung up on is picking a topic. So we can kind of, oh, hey, someone else joined. Oh, hey, teacher mentor. So Vivica, we can kind of discuss maybe some topics that you were thinking about. Some common ones, and then even listed in the assignment directions is this website, which gives 100 ideas for persuasive speeches. So basically your topic has to be something that you can argue, like something that you would persuade somebody of. So here are some. Meat consumption, food additives, TV violence, let's see, importance of safety harnesses, mandatory drug tests. You could even write about books versus e-books, freedom of the press gone too far, health insurance should be for everyone. Yeah, anyways, you could pick some of those. Do you have an idea off the top of your head right now? Or if you don't, I can help you kind of brainstorm.
No, I don't have an idea right now.
Okay. Let's see. What about what about benefits of online learning? You could write about that just simply because you are a student of an online class. Let's see, what are some common ones? Some common ones that are coming up a lot are gun violence. So like laws against guns or laws to protect guns, whichever side perchance you're on. What other ones? Well, by the end of the class, maybe you'll, or by the end of the lesson, you maybe you'll think of something and we can talk about it again. But I'll give you 2 other examples too within the lesson here. Okay. So the example, yeah, no worries. The example paragraph is about global warming. This just happens to be a hot topic, so that was the example. I wrote this this class, so I wrote this. But anyway, so here was one example, and the highlighted parts are the tags, those terms that we had used. So we have a topic sentence. We use 2 concrete details, so those are going to be facts, a commentary, 2 concrete details, another commentary, and a concluding sentence. Now, you'll notice that from the presentation that I showed you earlier, we just did 1 chunk. We just had concrete detail, commentary, and then a concluding sentence. This one has 2 chunks, and it's possible, so it's all in 1 paragraph, but just be aware you're going to have 4 facts to support your argument or your opinion. And so I'll just kind of walk you through this. So this is the topic sentence. More action should be taken in Congress to slow down the progress of global warming. Now I'm going to need 2 facts, 2 concrete details from a source. So this one says there are several natural disasters that have affected the U.S. in the past few months. And that one isn't, a source isn't necessarily cited, although it is a fact. But perhaps why the source isn't cited is because it's a kind of common knowledge. If you had paid attention to the news, there was natural disasters happening when this was written. So then your concrete detail says, according to Citizens Climate Lobby, Hurricane Harvey turned much of Houston into a lake after dumping 50 inches of rain. Damage estimates have ranged up to 150 billion. So I have a direct quote from the source. And because it's not written in my own words, I have to put it in quotes. If you don't put it in quotes, it's technically plagiarism. And then within that, I wrote where I found that information. So I wrote the source that it came from. Then following the format, I have a commentary sentence. So that's going to be an opinion. Obviously, more needs to be done immediately to help alleviate the problems the U.S. will endure in the future. And then following the format, I need 2 concrete details. Not just hurricanes are wreaking havoc in America, wildfires are also spreading. According to Citizens Climate Lobby, again, this is a direct quote from this source, so I have to put it in quotes. Out west, wildfires intensified by hot, dry weather have charred millions of acres, with the most recent fire in Santa Rosa killing at least 15 people. Okay, this was a direct quote, not written in my own words. and I cited it kind of like within the text. I said, according to wherever it came from. Then I have a commentary, which is an opinion. These natural disasters are just the start for the US. And a concluding sentence. So the bottom bun of that hamburger, it's going to restate the main idea in a different way. As anyone can see, natural disasters have affected many already in the US. Congress needs to act in order to slow down the process of global warming. And so I restated the main idea, just in a little bit different way. Vivica, do you have any questions so far? I know it's kind of like a lot to go through all at once, but let me know if you have a question. I'll be happy to explain anything.
I do have a question. Like typically, how long do a paragraph have to be or should be?
Yeah, so if you're following this format, which you should for the assignment, you're really going to only have, so I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're this paragraph for this assignment is going to be 8 sentences long. Okay. I think this one is a little bit longer because I added like a couple sentences in here and whatever. But for the most part, you literally, it's like this is your skeleton and you just plug it in there. And like I said, as you get better at writing, you don't have to follow it to, like, it's more of a guideline as you get better. But as far as in English 9, I think this is something that you should definitely follow to just kind of get in the habit. So yeah, eight sentences long. Any other questions?
No, not right now.
Okay, got it. All right, so then you also want to, when you're doing an assignment, you also want to look at the rubric. And I don't know if you're familiar with the term rubric, but rubric is basically shows you how you're going to be scored by your teacher. It's really important to look at that too, especially like if you're going to take these classes at Graduation Alliance, and then you're going to go on to college too. You want to know how your teacher's grading you for 2 reasons. 1, so you complete the assignment correctly, but 2, if you get a grade that you don't necessarily agree with, then you tell your teacher, like, hey, or your professor or whatever, hey, I'm looking at the rubric and I think I could have been graded differently in this aspect. And then you go explain yourself. And a lot of times, a teacher will look at that and think, oh yeah, maybe I did make a mistake. So it's really beneficial for you to look at the rubric. Okay, so this rubric shows you how you're going to be graded. And across the top is exceeds, meets, and does not meet. So it's really pretty simple. If you do anything on this category does not meet, you probably will not get a passing grade. F usually stands for fail. And anytime that you get a grade like that that's not passing, you can always retry it. So it just kind of means like you don't meet right now, but you could in the future. And then if you're going for like a C, you want to follow these descriptions. And if you're going for an exceeds, like you're trying to get an A, a 90% or higher, then follow these descriptions. And it looks like you'll be graded on a topic sentence, concrete details, a commentary, and concluding sentence, and sentence fluency. So basically you need to have all of those aspects in your paragraph, and then sentence fluency. And I think perhaps you have already learned about sentence fluency. I think if it's mentioned in this rubric, maybe there was like a little mini lesson on it. But sentence fluency means like basically the flow of your writing. Does it sound good? Like, is it super choppy, or does it go on and on and on and on? And so we'll talk about that a little bit at the end here. But sentence fluency is how it flows. And you can usually do some quick sentence fluency revisions by reading your paragraph aloud. Because you'll notice a lot of, if it sounds really choppy, it'll sound like that. So I already talked about some topic ideas. Here's another example paragraph. So this one was in your activity, and there's a great video on there describes how to write your paragraph. But here's an additional example that we can walk through as well. So same thing, same exact format. You're having a topic sentence, 2 concrete details. You're having a commentary, 2 concrete details, a commentary, and a concluding sentence. So this topic I chose just because it seemed easy to support, is about healthy eating and making it more affordable for people. So the topic sentence says, we should be putting more effort into making healthy foods more affordable and educating on healthy eating. So that states the main idea. of my essay in one complete sentence, or I mean, of my paragraph, I should say. Then you have 2 concrete details. So I needed to find a fact on this. So what I did was I Google searched, healthy eating or the cost of healthy eating, and I found a lot of different stuff online. I ended up going with this source, which is right here. And we don't have enough time for this lesson to talk about how to find a credible source, but credible sources, are sources that are fact-based. You're not going to be wanting to cite like a blog or anything. So just make sure that it's credible, and then you'll have to take a quote or reference some type of concrete detail from your chosen source. So anyways, I chose this. It says eating healthy is cheaper than you think as my source. This was taken actually from a different source, but the Harvard School of Public Health. And I said that right here. I said, according to Harvard School of Public Health. And then I said, healthier diets cost $1.50 more per day. I wrote that in my own words, so I didn't have to put it in quotes, but I did have to say where I got it from because it is a concrete detail. All right, then my second concrete detail was from that source. So I said, furthermore, Time magazine explains the reason for this is because current food policies support inexpensive but high volume production and favor easily manufactured and processed foods that provide more profit per unit for the food industry. And I took it right from here. This is the quote. So I took it directly from that. I copied it. And it's fine to copy something from a quote, from a source, but you have to put it in quotes. You have to put it in quotes. Otherwise, it's going to be plagiarism. Okay? And plagiarism is when you take somebody else's work and you say it's your own, even if it's not intentional. So I put that in quotes, and I listed where I got it. Then I need a commentary. So this is an opinion. Oh, hey, this is my specific opinion. When I changed my diet a few years ago to mostly plant-based, I was actually surprised at how inexpensive it could be. I don't buy meat or processed food and very little dairy. However, most people don't know that cutting out meat, dairy, and processed snack foods can save a lot of money. So that's my own opinion. That's my own explanation on these 2 concrete details. Then following the format, I need 2 more concrete details. So $1.50 a day doesn't seem like much, but added up over a year, that comes to $550. Concrete detail. Additionally, fruits, veggies, and fish are more expensive than unhealthy foods like processed meals and snacks and refined grains. And I took that from Time. So I really should put, and if you don't mention it in the text to show where your source is, you can put it in parentheses like that, like I just did. And then my commentary, this can definitely add up and become a burden for a family, especially if there's no time to prepare a meal at home, which is another way to save money. So my own personal opinion on this and explanation. And then I have a concluding sentence. In conclusion, more education is needed to notify families of alternative ways to eat, save money, and remain healthy. Also, we need to do a better job at providing families in need with healthy and inexpensive foods. Okay, so I kind of restated the main idea, restated some of my main points from the concrete details, and kind of summed it all up for a complete concluding sentence. Any questions, Vivica? I know I kind of just walked you through the process one more time. Any questions about what I'm talking about? Not now? Okay.
No, not right now, no.
Okay. And just remember that you have to, a common mistake that students make is just that they don't list where they found their source. So if you found a fact, but you don't say where you got it from, you want to make sure that you do that. And I just see, hey, Rhonda. I saw Rhonda just joined us here. We're kind of just going through an example argumentative paragraph, and I can go through it again too for you, Rhonda. But I'm going to keep going with Vivica for a bit, and then maybe with Q&A I can walk us through it again. So anyways, so now you have like you followed the format, you followed the outline. Your final paragraph, you're going to take these tags out, so you don't need to say concluding sentence. You would just say, in conclusion, right? And you would put it all into one paragraph. So I suppose I could just do that for us right now. So your final paragraph would look like this. So I would take these tags out because that was just helping me to organize my writing. And then I would read it aloud to check for sentence fluency. So remember that sentence fluency, and that's how you're going to be graded on 641. Part of it is how your writing flows. So now I took the tags out. So this should all be one paragraph, and I indent the beginning of a paragraph. So I make this all fluid. And sorry, the different text is kind of annoying, but I'm not going to bother fixing it right now. Okay, so this would be all one paragraph. Okay. And see how this paragraph starts with an indentation. So I know it's just one fluid paragraph. Now I'm going to read it aloud to make sure that everything kind of flows and make any corrections that I see perhaps in like grammar or punctuation. So here we go. We should be putting more effort into making healthy foods more affordable and educating on healthy eating. That sounds kind of awkward. I don't know why, but I'm going to fix it. Making healthy foods more affordable. Making healthy foods more affordable. And educating maybe families on how to eat healthy. That would be better. How about that? Because I did mention that it can be expensive. So I said we should be putting more effort into making healthy foods more affordable. Let's take out more because I said that twice. We should be putting more effort into making healthy foods affordable and educating families on how to eat healthy on a budget. All right, that's a little bit better. According to Harvard School of Public Health, healthier diets cost $1.50 more a day. Furthermore, Time magazine explains the reason for this is because current food policies support inexpensive but high volume production and favor easily manufactured and processed foods that provide more profit per unit for the food industry. When I changed my diet a few years ago to mostly plant-based, I was actually surprised at how inexpensive it could be. I don't buy meat or processed foods and very little dairy. However, most people don't know that cutting out meat, dairy, and processed snack foods can save a lot of money. $1.50 a day doesn't seem like much, but added up over a year, that comes to $550. Additionally, fruits, veggies, and fish are more expensive than unhealthy foods like processed meals and snacks and refined grains. This can definitely add up and become a burden for a family, especially if there is no time to prepare a meal at home, which is another way to save money. In conclusion, more education is needed to notify families of alternative ways to eat, save money, and remain healthy. Also, we need to do a better job of providing families in need with healthy and inexpensive foods. All right, that kind of flows pretty good. I think I just needed to edit that topic sentence, and everything else looks pretty good. For the most part, punctuation looks pretty good. And you can see how I added in some transition. I said also. I used in conclusion. What's another? I said furthermore as a transition to make my writing kind of flow. Hey, somebody just showed up. Hey, Kanisha. We are just going through an argumentative paragraph, activity 641 of English 9 semester 1. So, and I can go through this again. Vivica was with me from the beginning, so I'm going to finish up this and see if she had any questions, and then I can backtrack for those of you who just showed up too. So Vivica, do you have any other questions? Do you think you know how to outline and then put together an argumentative paragraph?
I don't have any questions right now, but yeah, I have a pretty good idea now.
Good. Okay, good. I really hope so. Do you have an idea for a topic?
I think I'm going to go with the online and traditional school, or.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and there's lots of information out there too. So, and if you have any questions about like finding a credible source or anything, just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Viveka. Okay, so everybody else who just joined in, can you write in the chat box or unmute yourself and tell me if you're in English 9 currently? It doesn't matter if you are or aren't, but I will tailor the lesson to you guys if you are. Sorry, totally calling you guys out. Rhonda, Kanisha. Sweet, I got a chat. English 9, Rhonda, sweet. Okay. And Kanisha, are you in English 9? All right, I'm gonna assume you are, Kanisha. You can use the chat box to communicate with me, or unmute yourself, whatever you so choose. Okay, Rhonda, have you written or done activity 641 in English 9 yet? Cool. Okay, so Rhonda says no. Rhonda, were you at my lesson last week when we talked about topic sentences, concrete details? Sweet, I thought so. Okay, so you are like ahead of the schedule here, so good job. With Vivica, we went through activity 631. I don't know if you've done that yet, but we just kind of completed it together, so let's just do that real fast. So a concrete detail, and you could do this in your, okay, cool, thanks, Rhonda. You could do this actually in your class as well. It's English 9 631. We'll go through it together, but you could do it as we talk. So concrete detail, which one of these, A, B, C, or D, describes a concrete detail? Rhonda or Kanisha. C, an educated decision based on a concrete detail and commentary. Close. That one's a super tricky one. It is not C. Do you have a second guess? D. You are correct. Yep. So concrete detail would be a fact or a piece of evidence. Nice job. Okay, commentary. So we use that one, so I'm gonna, oops. I'm gonna highlight that one so we know we used it. Okay, commentary. What is a commentary? Restates the topic, an opinion explanation based on the concrete detail, or C, an educated decision based on concrete details and commentary. What do you think, Rhonda or Kanisha? B, an opinion. Yep, you are correct. Commentary is an opinion. It's usually an explanation or like a further kind of discussion about your concrete detail. A topic sentence. I didn't use this exact, the exact wording for this one, but you could probably just make a guess. So topic sentence, an educated decision based on concrete details and commentary, or A, restates the topic. What do you think? A, close. So it technically does state the topic, but the clue here was that it restates the topic. So restating the topic would be your concluding sentence, because that goes at the end of the paragraph. So this one would be for concluding sentence, and then an educated decision based on concrete details and commentary will be your topic sentence. Usually the topic sentence is just states your main idea and what you're going to be writing about. All right, good. That was a great review. Good job, Rhonda.
Okay.
Okay, so this was the example. This was the example on 641. I actually wrote it because I wrote the class. So I copied it here for us to look at. And I don't know if you've gotten a chance to do it yet, but a few of the holdups I talked about with Vivica too was that students kind of get held up on picking a topic. So I was helping, and as we're talking about this, you might think of a topic yourself, but I was helping Vivica kind of like brainstorm some. So a lot of students write, because it's like a hot topic now, is they write about gun policy or gun laws for or against. A lot of students write about, some students write about global warming. This one happens to be about global warming because this just seemed to be a good topic at the moment when I wrote it. And then on either side of whatever argument you want. What else do other people write about? Now I'm like drawing a blank. Vivica was going to write about an online education versus in-person education, and maybe like which one's better. You have to choose one side. So you just have to, like, if you're for online, then you got to support only online education. I wrote a bunch of stuff about, or my other argument that I just, for an example argument, was about making healthy foods less expensive. And then this chat box. Perfect. So Rhonda said the opioid epidemic, definitely. That's a great topic. Yeah, and so you would maybe argue that there needs to be more done because it's a problem, or you would argue perhaps a solution to the problem, whatever you would choose. But you would maybe want to, that's a great topic. I think that'll be great. You want to find a couple sources for that, and that'll kind of make solution to the problem. Cool. All right, Rhonda, you have a great start then. That's half the battle, choosing your topic. Okay, so I'll just go through these examples real fast because we're going to run out of time here pretty soon anyways. So we talked about the writing format in last week's session or lesson. So you always want to have a topic sentence, and you always want to have a concluding sentence with any paragraph. Topic, concluding sentence. And then in the middle, you kind of, you want to pay attention to the assignment format. And like I was telling Vivica too, you don't always have to follow this. In English 9, I recommend you following it to a T because it's great practice. But as you get better at your writing, in English 11 or English 12, you can mix it up and you don't have to follow this this is more like a guideline. But for English 9, I really do think you should follow this kind of like very closely because it's great practice and it makes your writing very clear. So you have topic sentence, concluding sentence, then inside you follow the format. So for this assignment, we asked for 2 concrete details, a commentary, and two concrete details and another commentary. Sometimes paragraphs just go 2 concrete details and a commentary and a concluding sentence. But this is called two chunk, and so it's see a chat. Cool. Thanks, Rhonda. Rhonda says she's going to follow the format. Yeah. So you just want to follow the format. So how I did this. Okay, I decided my topic. So you've already decided your topic, the opioid, a solution to the opioid epidemic. So you would make that clear. You would say, blah, 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 whatever solution it would be. And more should be done for this or something like that. I chose more action should be taken in Congress to slow down the progress of global warming. So you might say more action should be taken to address the opioid crisis happening in the US, or if you're writing about your specific community, then you would write like specifically wherever you're from. But that's a great topic. So you have your topic sentence, then you have your concrete detail. And there's going to be 2 of them. So you're going to have 2 facts back to back. And this, you need to find a source on that. So you're going to have to do a Google search and maybe find some solutions to the opioid epidemic. And it'd be even better if it was specifically to your community. Maybe your local newspaper is writing about it. And if you can find a source like that, that'd be even better. This first concrete detail is there are several natural disasters that affect the U.S. in the past few months. I didn't put a source there because it's kind of like, it's a fact, and it was common knowledge when I was writing about it. There was a couple national disasters that had happened. Then my next concrete detail, according to Citizens Climate Lobby, a lot of students miss saying where they found their fact. It's good if you put it in quotes, but if you don't tell where you found it, okay, you have to say, so this is specifically Citizens Climate Lobby, like a source. If it was a magazine article, if it was a website, whatever it may be, you're gonna have to list that. And you can even follow that according to, you just use that and then plug in wherever your source was. And then this was taken directly from the source. Hurricane Harvey turned much of Houston into a lake after dumping 50 inches of rain. Damage estimates have ranged up to 150 billion. Okay, that was direct quote. I have to put it in quotes because it's not my writing. Okay, chat. Would I put it from our plain dealer? Then quote the newspaper. Would I put it from our plain dealer? I'm not exactly sure what that means. Would I put it from our plain dealer? You would put our paper. Would you put it from our, would I put it from our paper? Yes. Yep. You could say our paper, but that's not specific enough, Rhonda. So you want to say like, okay, for example, the Columbian is the paper I get. It's like the local paper called the Columbian. So whatever your paper is called, it's the Herald, the New York Times, the whatever it is, list your specific paper. Yep, that's exactly right, Rhonda. Okay, then you put in quotes. Okay, then I have a commentary, which is an opinion based on those two concrete details. Obviously, more needs to be done immediately to help alleviate the problems the U.S. will endure in the future. That's my own personal interpretation of these facts, an opinion. Two concrete details, not just hurricanes are wreaking havoc in America, wildfires are also spreading. I didn't put a source there because that was also kind of common knowledge. It was happening at the U.S. in that, at the time I wrote that. Concrete detail, according to Citizens Climate Lobby, again, I said where the source was. Okay, you have to list where you're from. So whatever paper you were talking about, you'd say according to the Columbian or whatever paper. And then this is my direct quote. Out west, wildfires intensified by hot, dry weather have charred millions of acres, with the most recent fire in Santa Rosa killing at least 15 people. Not my writing, so I put it in quotes and listed the source. Commentary is going to be an opinion. These natural disasters are just the start for the U.S. And concluding sentence, as anyone can see, natural disasters have affected many already in the U.S. Congress needs to act in order to slow the process of global warming. Concluding sentence, I restate the main idea, restate my main kind of points so that the reader understands what I was talking about. Okay. Let's do one more example, and then we'll pretty much be done with the lesson, unless you have a question, which I will answer. Period always goes inside of the quotes. Yeah, that's right, Rhonda. So yeah, you want to make sure that this always goes on the inside of the quotes. Yep. And here's another example from how I cited my source over here. So this one was a direct quote, but I didn't want to say according to Time magazine again because I had already said it, so it just sounded repeated. Another way you can cite your source is listing it in parentheses. And I said Time here. Specifically, I probably should have listed the last name of the author there, so I'm going to fix that because I don't want to be wrong. Can't be wrong with my students watching. Sifferlin is the last name of this, the author's. So I'm gonna, and then of course, later on in the course and later on the English courses, you'll find out actually how to specifically MLA cite that. But I listed the last name of the source and then I listed the website. This is not MLA format, but you will learn that at a later time. So just don't worry about that. Minimum, make sure you just put your direct quotes in quotes and say where you got it from. Okay, here's another example. Topic sentence, we should be putting more effort into making healthy foods more affordable and educating on healthy eating. Okay, it's about making healthy foods affordable for people and then also providing education on how to eat healthy. 2 concrete details, and 2 facts. According to Harvard School of Public Health, healthier diets cost $1.50 more a day. So I listed where I got this from, and then a specific fact, an interesting fact, $1.50 more a day. Concrete detail. Furthermore, Time magazine, I listed my source, explains the reason for this is because, and this was not written in my own words, so I put it in direct quotes, current food policies support inexpensive but high volume production and favor easily manufactured and processed foods that provide more profit per unit for the food industry. Okay, it's kind of a long quote, and so it's good to have a commentary so that we can explain what was just said there. So this is my own personal opinion written about that concrete detail, okay? And not all of this is just an example, not all of this is my own personal opinion either. It's just for the sake of arguments. When I changed my diet a few years ago to mostly plant-based, I was actually surprised at how inexpensive it could be. I don't buy meat or processed foods and very little dairy. However, most people don't know that cutting out meat, dairy, and processed snack foods can save a lot of money. Then I have and notice how that's my own, this is like your own personal opinion. This is not a fact, right? Concrete detail, $1.50 a day doesn't seem like much, but added up over a year, that comes to $550. Concrete detail, additionally, fruits, veggies, and fish are more expensive than unhealthy foods like processed meals and snacks and refined grains. My opinion on that, this can definitely add up and become a burden for a family, especially if there's no time to prepare a meal at home, which is another way to save money. In conclusion, more education is needed to notify families of alternative ways to eat, save money, and remain healthy. Also, we need to do a better job at providing families in need with healthy and inexpensive foods. So I restated my main topics. We need to educate more on healthy eating, but also make it accessible for people to be able to have healthy foods. And then I listed my source here. I put the website down here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So then once you outline it like that, then your final paragraph is going to look like this. It's going to be one paragraph. You're going to take the tags out. You're going to read through it again. You're going to make sure it sounds good and kind of that it flows, because you're also going to be graded on sentence fluency, which means like how your writing flows and does it sound good. So I will read it one time all through. So just as an example to see kind of what it sounds like all together. So we should be putting more effort into making healthy foods affordable and educating families on how to eat healthy on a budget. According to Harvard School of Public Health, healthier diets cost $1.50 more a day. Furthermore, Time magazine explains the reason for this is because current food policies support inexpensive but high volume production and favor easily manufactured and processed foods that provide more profit per unit for the food industry. When I changed my diet a few years ago to mostly plant-based, I was actually surprised at how inexpensive it could be. I don't buy meat or processed foods and very little dairy. However, most people don't know that cutting out meat, dairy, and processed snack foods can save a lot of money. $1.50 a day doesn't seem like much, but added up over a year, that comes to $550. Additionally, fruits and veggies and fish are more expensive than unhealthy foods like processed meals and snacks and refined grains. This can definitely add up and become a burden for a family, especially if there is no time to prepare a meal at home, which is another way to save money. In conclusion, more education is needed to notify families of alternative ways to eat, save money, and remain healthy. Also, we need to do a better job at providing families in need with healthy and inexpensive foods. So I revised this with Vivica earlier in the lesson, and we kind of made it flow a little bit better so that it sounded good. I added some transitions like furthermore, also, and in conclusion. So yeah, that's 641. So let me know if you have any questions, Rhonda or Vivica or Katie. But that's pretty much it. I hope you understand the format and you see the importance of outlining it first, because then once you master the outline and once you get in the habit of writing those out, it'll go so much faster and you won't just stare at a blank page, right? With what you're going to or worry about what you're going to write about. So just follow it step by step and you'll be a great writer. Any questions, you two? Oh, and Katie too. Any questions, you three? I see a chat message. Cool, Rhonda. I hope this helped. Vivica, do you have any other questions, or Katie?
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys showed up to the class. I hope it was helpful. I run a lesson every Wednesday at this exact time. I've specifically been focusing on English 9 and English 10 as of late. So if you guys are both in English 9, it is very likely that a lesson will be on something that you'll be doing for English. And then, of course, email me if you have any questions. If I'm not your current English teacher, send them a chat message with any of your questions, and they will help you out. Yeah, so I hope this was beneficial. I'm gonna sign off from the video here because we are done. And yeah, I look forward to seeing your argumentative paragraph, Rhonda and Vivica, on the opioid crisis and online education. Yeah, cool. All right, have a good, wonderful rest of your day, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.